Paltrocast.
Excited to meet you because we heard that you're the only one who asked specifically for more time. So, and you're the only one who got it. So, there you go.
So I'm gonna have to do the punk rock thing and do the exact opposite and go under my time just to annoy you. So the bottom line is,
perfect.
I'll throw it to Bart first. I'll give you the two-parter and I'll say, how are you and how does it feel to be answering the same questions over and over and over and over again today?
I am excellent. I'm hopped up on about 750 milliliters of coffee here. And the funny thing is everyone asks the question in a way that the answers are almost all different. Like just a slight tweak on that question. And it makes me think of a whole other ways of answering it. So I don't really feel like every question has kind of felt a little different. We're good.
Got it. Chris, is that same two-part response for you as well?
I would say so, yes. I have had more than 750 milliliters of coffee, though. So, I'm probably sitting at the 3 liter mark. And
well,
what the hell?
Ready
Is
to
that much
blow.
coffee you're drinking a day, dude?
I know my caffeine milligrams. When I drink one of my stupid energy drinks, it's like 300. And they say you're supposed to have 450 in a day for a healthy heart. So,
is that the doctor's recommendation?
Yeah.
That's great.
The least healthy showrunners there are. But
Yeah.
Chris, how did you and Bart first connect?
Bart and I first met in college, second year university. We were in a video class together, and we strapped a Nintendo Entertainment System to his head and rolled around the campus with a video camera, having him jump up and down like he was Mario on other people's picnic tables. and
I was going to think that was before YouTube, or there was no reason to do that.
No, we weren't going to put it anywhere. It's video just for us, idiots. But
well,
I was like,
as to rudely interrupt you here, as much as you might laugh at that gag was in that movie Kung Fury.
Really?
Son of a bitch, he stole it.
I know. So what I'm saying is, like, you guys as college hacks were ahead of your time.
That's kind of a theme with us.
Well, Bart, do you remember that video shoot fondly with wearing a console like that?
I actually completely forgot about that till now, and I'm just like, that was a whole other universe of, like animation. You get to hide behind a screen, you get to hide, but like going out there and just in the cafeteria at a busy university, jumping on people's tables and shit. Like, did I think I was Tom Green? Like, what the hell was I doing?
Well, am I allowed to know which university that was a part of? Because in other words, are they proud of you? And are they soliciting donations on your behalf? Because sometimes when you have successful comedy alumni, the university goes, nope, we're good.
I don't know if so that was UBC. We're in Canada, Vancouver. So that was UBCO, which is in the interior. But all of our work and like everything happened at Emily Carr, which is an art school in Vancouver, an amazing one. I don't think they know what we're up to. Maybe we should let them know.
Yeah, we'll send them an email, see what's going on. I don't think they've heard of us.
So I have a stupid point of curiosity Vancouver question, because a lot of my favorite albums of all time were recorded in British Columbia because of Bob Rock or Bryan Adams or something like that. Okay, So in the music industry, I know that there was American artists who were tracking their albums in Canada just because the Canadian government mandated you had to play a certain amount of that on the radio. In other words, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet, that's a Canadian album because they recorded it in Canada. Does it work that same way with Canadian animators and television?
It certainly does. Yeah. It certainly does. And there's a whole, I mean, we are not educated enough to like give you a full breakdown of it. I don't think we kind of know the ins and outs of the system quite a bit. I do know that there's a lot of stuff that is made here. Like Vancouver is a service city. In the animation front. So there's a lot of American stuff that's made here. And by doing so, you do get some certain points on that scale. But our show is, fully Canadian. So like we are, I think our partners called it a 10 out of 10 Canadian production. Yes. Don't know what that means, but we did it. And that was kind of, that was a feather in our hats too, because we got to kind of like do everything here with Canadian people and then take it and ship it somewhere else.
And most people won't know the difference. No, I'm kidding. No. I love Canada. Don't get me wrong. I've been to Fredericton, Canada a couple times. Have either of you ever been to or heard of Fredericton?
It's made up.
Trick question. We knew it.
It's paranormal.
Yeah, there you go. So Bart, what exactly was it that made you go, I'm going to also create shows, not just be a voice actor?
Oh, I think the creating the shows came first. I actually it was a slow follow up to me wanting to, I guess, other than strapping a Nintendo to my head and recording myself. It was a slow follow up to me wanting to act and stuff. The funny thing is, our first kind of big collab piece between Chris and I is we started doing episodes of He-Man live action, but like really weird, as you can imagine. And Chris was like the star. I was like, oh, this guy's hilarious. He's so funny. Like I was behind the camera the whole time. But then when we started making animation, we're like, well, we need more than one voice in these. So I kind of joined in. So it was like the comedy and the writing came first. The idea of acting or voice acting in it was definitely secondary.
Wow, there you go. And Chris, to now enter the phase where I ask the same questions that every other writer asked you today. So your series, how long does it actually take to make an episode? We South Park fans know it's a week, but no other animation show on the planet should work like that.
Yeah, no. And we were constantly pushing to get to that target. I think I brought it up a couple times and it was not popular for doing that. But Bart, can you remember specifically like how long?
2.5 months, I think. It was 10 weeks.
Wow. 10 weeks. And that's kind of it's a tough thing to quantify because we had probably from scripting to final episode, there were maybe 6 or 7 episodes in some form of production during that. So it was kind of like a rolling train. So it's really hard to like crunch it down to like this sort of time. But it was
thinking about.
Sorry, go ahead,
it was 24 episodes in 18 months. So it's I don't know. Did that land at 10 weeks an episode? Maybe not. But yeah, it was like a waterfall system. Is that what they call it? Yeah, where you're working on multiple episodes at the same time.
Yeah. Don't.
By the way,
no.
You haven't asked a single question that anyone else has asked. Everyone has questions we have not.
I'm going to try on this next one. Okay.
Please.
When you did the pilot, did you know that this was a quarter-hour series rather than a 30-minute series? Because Adult Swim is kind of patented for these 15-minute quarter-hour things. I can't think of anyone else that is so great with it like Adult Swim is.
Yeah, like our number one goal starting when we were making stuff with Nintendo strapped to our heads was to get a show on Adult Swim. I think it's always kind of been our goal. So 11 minutes is definitely in the mindset. Like when we went to put this together. Also, our shows are very fast paced. Psychos being the fastest yet, and we've always noticed that like half an hour of that would be a lot of one episode. So I think it's just kind of intrinsic in the tone of our style is that like 11 minutes shorter works better.
Got it. Chris, you're nodding in agreement over that.
I'm nodding in agreement, but I do know that we went through different thinking processes over the time because we first made this demo in 2016, and the demo itself was 4 minutes, I think, which started as an 8-minute demo that we cut down to 4 minutes just because that was how our creative process was. Let's crunch everything down as far as we can. And there was a point in time where it could have been a 22-minute show, and I think could have made it work, but our hearts have always been in the Adult Swim bracket. Like that's what we've wanted to do since we were watching pirated copies of Aquatine Hunger Force. It's the only way you could get it in Canada in 2002. And you're just kind of like, this is where I want to be. So we aimed for that. And I think that's the best format for Psychops, 100%.
Well said. So the last thing I want to know, being mindful of your time here, is when you talk about the turnaround time for Psychops, that is long. That's a year and a half or so from, not just writing it, but producing it and it coming out. So for us, these are new episodes. For you guys, these are old. Are we allowed to know what's next from both or either of you?
Do you mean what's next in another season?
Another
project
season, producing other roles, or is it Psychops this season's a swan song forever and ever?
Goodbye.
We're done. Yeah, we're moving away. Yeah.
No. We're. Chris and I are every single day writing and creating. We have tons of projects on the go. So we're writing a live action feature comedy right now that we're kind of curious where it's going to go. We have a back pocket cartoon idea that we're getting super excited about. We're constantly, Chris and I, before Psychops, we animated everything we did as well. We usually did all the work. And so we're in this big tech investigation right now where we're playing around with Blender and Unreal and AI and all this stuff. So we're constantly creating. And right now we're kind of a little bit on a touch of pause while we wait to see how Psychops does. If Psychops does really well, we're obviously fingers crossed that we can convince some Canadian funding to make a season 2. And then that will be our direction. So we're creating in the sense of, we're creating in a bit of a limbo right now, but with every intent of getting, making more stuff. I mean, it's our passion.
Hurry up and wait, I think they call that.
Oh God, we've done so much of that recently. Yeah. What's on your shirt, by the way? I see the word park, and I'm curious what's
Park City Song Summit. They paid for me to come out to their music festival in Utah. So the least you can do is, wear the shirt every now and then. Go. Park City, Utah is great.
I believe it.
Yeah. Just like Fredericton.
Hey, Fredericton's real. I swear. Google my name, Fredericton, and come with me to the Harvest Music Festival next summer, and come watch artists play Intense. But
that's perfect.
The bottom line is, congrats on Psychops. Really looking forward to what's to come from both of you, whether you're just voiceover talent or writing and producing the whole shebang.
We really appreciate you taking the time. This has been fun, and you literally didn't ask a single question that anyone else asked. That was fresh. Yeah, that kept me on my toes.
The next junket, I'm going to watch some of your other interviews, and I'm going to give you somebody else's questions.
That's a weird threat, man. Don't do that.
I like it.
Awesome.
Paltrocast.